I'm just doing this for fun. I just want to say thank you to Barb Aranda for listening to my rant. And I somewhat feel evil for talking about it, about things that are bothering me. It's been bothering me for a long time, and I pushed it down a lot. And I just got a message from my sister out of the blue, who never talks to me for like weeks on end for no reason, I guess, because she don't like me. She wants to dump her kids off to spend the night at my house, and I've got all this chaos going on right now, with my boyfriend's mom being pissed off and all that about his situation with his kids and all that. And they're very frustrating to me. His kids can be very frustrating to me, that subject. And her trying to shove it down my throat doesn't help at all. So, and I'm not going to be talked into put into an uncomfortable situation in my own home because his mother thinks that she's the queen of the memes, from Facebook or something, and she put up something, some kind of saying, and it's going to make everything all better. Doesn't work that way because she's a boomer, and boomers, they think everything is just going to get fixed. It's not. There's a lot of damage, and she's got money and stuff. So his mother's got money. They just got an inheritance from his grandparents, from my boyfriend's grandparents. So they are fine financially. They're fine. So it's easy for them to tell us what to do. And we don't have any money, and I'm the only one working in our house. Uh, I'm the only income. And I just found out YouTube says if you put your videos as the only 18 or above, that they don't monetize your videos. That only ones that get monetized apparently are videos are for kids. So that's discriminatory in itself. And poor Barb, I'm mentioning her because she listened to my rant, my rave, for like an hour while I was on, and I felt somewhat better, and I appreciate her listening. I felt somewhat better, but it's still extremely frustrating. And I feel bad about saying those things, but it's what's really real to me. And I appreciate the people that have I appreciate the people that have subscribed to my channel recently. Thanks to Die Bullfrog, he's been putting my channel name up. I lost hope there for a few days there, where it kind of felt like I was, pissing in the wind, like no one really noticed anyway. But thank you for doing that, Die Bullfrog. I really appreciate you. Put my name out there. It's very uninspiring sometimes, right? Life is uninspiring. And the thing is that I want to say, has anyone ever been alone for long stretches of time where you didn't have nobody, where you were literally alone, like you didn't have a spouse and you had to spend a lot of time by yourself? Well, I did. And uh, I can't say I found myself because I did. That's what they say. Oh, if you be alone, you can self reflect or whatever. I don't know about that. But I don't think, and I'm no expert, but I don't think that um, me being upset with my boyfriend's kids is going to make him want to leave. Because he's known I've been upset about this for a long time. It's nothing new to him. I know it frustrates him, but he can't change the way I feel about it and the pain I have from it. I almost feel like a Holocaust victim, but it's really hard for me to get over what happened to me. And seeing them is just a reminder of the things that they've done to me. They're really making me feel bad about myself and my living situation in my home. And it's just better to not have people around you that make you feel toxic or toxic people that don't like you and they're only there because they want to get something. But it hurts. And I'm not ready right now. I'm not ready to make any amends right now with his kids. I'm not ready. And because it's too hard for me. I'm too hurt, and he has to understand that. I'm very hurt by everything that's happened to me. I feel like I'm helpless in my own life. I can't do anything about it. All I could do is go to work when I'm scheduled to work and make a little bit of money and pay my bills. That's all I can do. I can't do anything more than that. I can't do anything more than that. And you can't expect me to. Just like I can't expect him to do more than what he can do. And his mother interfering and trying to make something happen that's not going to happen is not realistic. She can't just make things all patched up and good when she didn't even put in her own effort to help out. And she expected me to be the one to make everything okay. Doesn't work that way because they didn't want me around. They just wanted him and their mother to be the ones. And I got in the way probably of what was wanted to happen. And it's sad because right now he's visiting his parents at their house for this dinner his mom's having. And I don't want to be there because I don't want to get blamed for his problems with his kids. Why they feel left out or whatever, and they're jealous of our son that we have together because he spends all the time with his dad and he's got a somewhat stable home with two parents that live at home. And it's not my fault. It's not my fault. She's the one who left him. She left him. And I'm not going to blame myself for that. And I'm not going to blame myself for their behavior because their behavior is the side effect of the mother, of how she treated her kids. She treated, she used to take the food stamps and trade it for drugs and all that. And I didn't know about it till later that she had been doing that when they used to come visit their dad. And I would come to his house and help him watch his kids because he had three of them. They were all under the age of 5 at the time. And when I first knew him, he said he needed my help because his kids were a handful. And I already had my own kids. My kids were pretty easy to take care of. They were bigger. But his wife was pulling all this garbage. Um, and then later on said I was a seat warmer and all that. I'm not ready to forgive right now. I'm enjoying my solitude away from that insanity. I don't want to be reminded of it. They need to have their life and then we have our life. It's just the way it is. It's just so much easier that way. She's burned me so many times. So I know this is a pretty boring video. It's just a repeat of the other video. But I think, I don't know, it just seems like the most evil people seem to get away with everything. You know what I mean? Really bad people get away with the most atrocious things and they walk from it. I can imagine doing the things that she did and still have my children. I just don't understand it. And it's because he took mercy on her and he didn't do anything about it, the stuff that she did, because he didn't want her to lose her kids. And not just that, but he didn't want to have to take care of them because they were too much of a handful for him to deal with. And I know because I helped him take care of them and they were hard and they acted out because they were traumatized by the mother uh, separating from the dad and finding her own place and they didn't understand it and they didn't know who I was or what my role was in all this. It's just I think my boyfriend's mother did it for his kids. And that's not fair because I had my own kids and I didn't get to spend much time with my kids because I was too busy taking care of his kids all the time when his wife went on drugs and I ended up she lived down in the valley. We lived up here in this crappy little county where I live now and we got this call um in the middle of the day saying CPS took her kids away because the kids flooded the house because she'd been passed out for like 3 days because she was using meth. And CPS first, they called my boyfriend's parents because they couldn't get a hold of him right away, I guess, because his phone wasn't working or something. So they called them, and his parents came down the valley to get those kids, and they didn't even have shoes on their feet when they took them. And he calls me and tells me that he's got his kids. CPS came and got the kids, and that he needed me to move out of my apartment and move into a house with him to help him take care of his kids because his wife uh, was passed out for 3 days on meth. And it turned out the whole time that he was paying like I think 2,000 a month for child support for the three kids at the time back in what was it 2008, and she was using that money I think for drugs, and then she was selling the food stamps for drugs. And then he got that call. I didn't know it because when they were visiting him, when he'd come pick up his kids at the halfway point, we'd bring them back to his house, and then they would be starving to death, and they would eat a ton of food, and I couldn't understand why they're so hungry. And then we found out later from his older daughter, older daughter, that the mother wasn't buying any food, putting any food in the house. We didn't find that out till after they took the kids away, that that's what was happening, because I didn't know what was going on. And I hate talking about this, but it almost needs to be talked about because she works, his ex-wife works at a women's shelter, a battered women's shelter, and she's a piece of crap. Oh, I hate her. And she works right down the street on the same street that I live on, the women's shelter's right on the end of the street where I live. And so I have to drive by there every stinking day when I go to work. Hi, Red Dawn and Linda. I ate something that didn't agree with me, so I may not be able to stay long. Oh God, what'd you eat? Did you eat a restaurant or something? Do you feel like you're gonna throw up? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. It sucks because you're always watching my channel. I appreciate it. Damn. God, you'd think you could have a good couple of days, right? Where you don't have any issues. And then you end up getting some sickness or something. No, too many Christmas goodies. Oh, you got sick. Do you eat too many chocolates and stuff? Oh, damn. Yeah, that'll happen. I just got a bunch of chocolate from my boss. She gave me a box with chocolates in it. And I look at that and I go, do I really need to do that? Because my teeth are not in good shape. They are not in good shape. And I always skip the soda when I go to work. There's a soda machine in the hallway where I work, and I always look at it and I go, yeah, I like soda, but I look at my teeth and I go, I don't like it that much because I don't want to make my teeth worse because I'm trying to keep my teeth. So, and I got another 40 years left on my teeth, so I don't want to mess them up. You know how it is. You don't want to end up eroding the enamel off your teeth by eating all this and drinking all this erosive stuff. So I just avoid it. I try to drink other things. Like I'll try to find juice or something or water. It's hard though because some days you need like caffeine really bad, but caffeine's really bad for your system. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. His ex-wife, she's such a witch. Okay, now I know why I'm talking about her because his mother brought up the subject of him being a deadbeat dad. And it's like, excuse me? Hello? You weren't the one that was there when CPS took the kids away from her and we had to take care of those kids. And they acted out and they drove us up the wall because the mother had done some terrible things to them. And I didn't know the extent of everything until later. Like all the boyfriends she had, and one of the kids said that her boyfriend put a gun in her mouth right in front of him. I mean, we didn't know about those things until later, until the kids started talking about it, the stuff they saw. And then they would take it out on me because they were upset about their mother screwing up. And they would start telling me things because they were living with us because they got taken away by CPS. And one of them told me about the gun in the mouth. And the other one told me about mom taking a shower with some guy with the door open. And the mother shooting up meth between her toes. And the little girl told me about it. And then she told her dad about it. And then they told the counselor about it. All this stuff we were going through, and they were upset and they would make a mess out of the house. They would trash the entire house. They would trash their room. I couldn't understand why they were doing these things. And they took my kids. I had boxes of stuff because we just moved in. I had boxes of my kids' stuff when they were babies. It was all boxed up still. And it was in my room. And apparently they got into the boxes of all my kids' stuff. And they took some of the blankets that were in the boxes and threw them out in the creek. We had a creek in the backyard. I know, it's just weird. I put it in my regular video I talked about that. But it traumatized me, and my older kids obviously knew about it, or they were at home at the time when they did that, and my kids were pretty PO'd about that when they saw that their blankets were floating in the creek out back. Blankets that I had held on for 10 plus years, saved up, saved in a closet, saved in a box, totally dry and clean, thrown out in the creek like it was this common garbage. And his kids were all under the age of six, 6, 5, and 4, and they were doing this stuff, you know. And it was like they were trying to get back at me for me being the step-in person, for them because their mother couldn't take care of them because she was dumpster diving at the time. That's why they got taken away because she'd been using meth and passed out for 3 days, and CPS took him, and we had to take him in. I had to move out of my apartment, and we all had to move in together in this house. And we moved all of our crap in, and then we set everything up, and then his kids started getting into all my stuff, like breaking into all my boxes. And they were out back, and they'd thrown some of my kids' baby blankets out in the creek, and they were starting to float down the river. It was going to turn into a river eventually. And I was pissed. And I plucked them out of the river or the creek, and I dried them, put them back, and I tried to hide all my stuff after that. I guess I was naive. I didn't realize the extent of the stuff they were doing, like the stuff they were gonna do later on. And it got worse. It got worse. The lashing out at me, messing up our house and stuff, just making a big old mess out of everything. They would just throw crap everywhere, just toys, crap everywhere, all over the floor, and it was just like just a chaotic mess. You hang all their clothes up in the closet. They'd pull everything off the hangers, dump all the drawers out, tear the beds up, and that's after you cleaned everything up. And it got so bad to the point where my boyfriend got so tired of doing that um, when they would get out of school, he put a padlock on their bedroom door so they couldn't get in the room. They couldn't come into their room until bedtime because he was afraid they were going to tear up the room. So they weren't allowed in their bedroom until they were going to bed because he knew they were going to tear up their bedroom. Just that's the stuff that his mother didn't have to go through. That's the stuff that she didn't have to go through. And I remember having to clean their room every day because they would tear everything down off the closet, the hangers. They'd pull everything off the hangers and dump all the drawers out. And the ringleader was the oldest girl. She was like 6, and she was the one orchestrating it. She was directing it. A lot of the chaos. She would tell the 2 younger ones what to do, and they would follow her lead in making a big mess. And it pissed me off. And then the littlest one, she would pee in her pants and then poop in her pants. She'd just stand there and pee and poop in her pants. And I couldn't understand it. And the oldest girl that wasn't his daughter, it was his wife's first daughter from another relationship. She would try to help me watch the kids, but she would be mean to them when she'd watch them too. She would hit them and stuff. And I'd have to tell her to stop hitting those kids because I said, don't worry about it. I told her, I said, it's not your job right now. You don't have to worry about watching them. I'll watch them. But she'd get mad at them and hit them and stuff because she was used to having to get stuck with all the work. And it was insane. Yeah. And the littlest one peed and pooped in her pants. And the front of their bedroom, the carpeting in front of their bedroom was all dirty brown stained because she kept peeing and pooping in her pants right by the door. Like she'd wake up in the morning and she'd pee and poop in her pants standing in front of the door of her room. It's just insane. I don't understand. I don't understand it. And I don't know the extent of all the stuff the mother did to them to make them act like that. But it freaked me out, and it freaked my kids out too, because they didn't know why this was happening, why these kids were acting like this. And their dad was getting frustrated because he was getting tired of cleaning up these messes they were making. They were just completely tearing the house up, just tearing it up. Uh, they would throw everything on the floor. Like they would pull everything off the hangers, dump the drawers out. One of them was peeing and pooping in her pants. And I told him, I said, maybe you should put a diaper on her or something because she's not choosing to use the toilet. She's like peeing all over herself, and it's ruining the carpet in their room. And it was decent carpet when we moved in. It wasn't great carpet, but it was clean. Yeah, mental problem, drug damage. Well, yeah, the mother had drug damage because she was using a lot of meth. And the sad thing is, um, she was dumpster diving the mother. Meanwhile, while I and their dad was doing all this work taking care of these kids full time, she was out dumpster diving, looking for meth and all that, and doing favors and stuff, if you know what I mean, to get the drugs. You know what I mean? It's just sick. It's just absolutely sick. Just she stole from him too. Originally, she stole from him thousands of dollars when he was going bankrupt, or not when he was going bankrupt, when he lost his business and he had to liquidate everything. And she stole from him thousands of dollars from his bank account and used it on drugs and lied about it. She bought a bunch of Cool Whip cream canisters and she huffed all the gas. And he said he didn't know about it until he opened the trunk of her car and saw all these empty canisters of Cool Whip because she was huffing the gas and getting high off that. That was before she started actually using meth, before she moved out. And then she moved on to meth. And then she was forced to go into rehab and he had the kids. And then she came back and then she wanted him to move out because she didn't want to be with him anymore. And then he moved out, got his own place. And then he found a place up where I live. And he was visiting his kids down in the valley where she was still living, and he was paying his high child support, like 2,000 a month. And she came up there. She came up there with her kids, and to visit him, and he didn't know, but she had a bunch of needles. Like she stole a bunch of her uncle's hypodermic needles for because he had diabetes, and she stole a bunch of his hypodermic needles, and she was using that to shoot up meth because she needed clean needles, and she stuffed them up in the rafters, and he didn't know she was using. She just told him that she needed a place to stay for a few days because she was scared of this guy that was after her, that was chasing her. And he said, "Yeah, come on up." He said, "I'll bring the kids or whatever so you can stay here." And she was shooting up meth and she was hiding. She hid some needles up in the rafters of his place. And they got in a fight because he told her to get out because he saw that he caught her shooting up the meth, and he told her to get out of there, get out of his place, and he was going to take the kids away from her. And he threw her suitcase out and she screamed because she got scared because he threw her stuff out. And anyways, some neighbor called the cops, and the cops came, and she told the cops that he had two Vicodin in his pocket, and they wouldn't have known about it if she hadn't told them. But he had a prescription for it. He had to show it later that he had a prescription, but he didn't have the bottle at the time because it was at some other place. He couldn't find it. He had to dig through a ton of shit, and he couldn't find it in his house. So the cops are like, "We're not going to wait around for that. You're under arrest for two Vicodin in your pocket." And they searched his house, whatever they do the search, and they found these needles up in the rafters of his place. And they said, who these needles belong to? And he got scared because he didn't want CPS to take his kids because the kids were there too. And he told the cops that it was his, and they arrested him for the two Vicodin, not necessarily for the needles. And he went to jail. And she had his wallet. He wasn't able to get his wallet. She had his wallet. And he spent a week in jail. He called his parents, and they wouldn't bail him out. They wouldn't bail him out. And he told them what happened. They wouldn't bail him out. And his wife had his kids and his wallet inside of his place. And she left with the kids with his wallet, and she cleaned out his account. She took all his money, and he got out after a week. He got out of jail, and he had to get a taxi cab. And he asked the neighbor if they could pay the taxi cab fare. So she paid it, and he paid her back later. But his ex-wife came back up to where he lives and gave him back his wallet. And he went to go use his card, and of course he was all cleaned out. She cleaned out his entire account, and he had to go to work the next day, and he had not been at work because he'd been in jail because his parents wouldn't bail him out. His parents are fucking sacks of shit for that too, for leaving him and sitting in jail when they knew she was a piece of crap. He's given her so many damn breaks. That she cleaned him out. You know what I mean? I wasn't here at the beginning. Do you know what set her off recently? Yeah. She stole his wallet, or she took his wallet while he was in jail and spent all of his money. And then later on, a few days later, she gave him back his wallet. And of course, she had spent all the money in his checking account. And she had his kids and all that because he didn't want his kids because they were too much of a hassle. Oh, you're all back now? You have a wonderful time at your mother's house? You have a wonderful time at your mom's house? I don't know. I thought you said she was being a bitch. I thought you said your mom was being a bitch. Oh, so she's not giving you any shit right now? Sorry, I'm doing a live stream about your ex-wife. Well, what do you care? She's a fucking piece of shit and I hate her. Scuzzball. Why does she have to get a place right down the street? I just told him about how she stole your wallet and she spent all your money while you were in jail for her. And now she works for a women's shelter. She thinks she's all high and mighty and perfect, and she's not. Yeah, it's disgusting. So what I'm saying ain't making his ears bleed because he already knows what happened. He was there and he told me.
Why don't you just focus on
I'm not being a bitch. I'm just telling him what she did to you. She deserves to be exposed. Because look at you. You're crying your eyes out almost every night because of this crap.
crying my
Yeah, because of everything she's done to you.
really?
All the things that she's done, not literally crying your eyes out, but you're upset.
You don't fucking say that to me.
What's wrong with crying? Is there anything wrong with crying because you're upset? Nothing's up my ass, but I'm getting tired of your mother trying to make everything all better. It's not going to be all better. It's not.
Why
Everything
don't
is.
you just focus on your
I am focusing on that, but the story is about what she did to you. Because your mother's the one who brought it up. She brought up the subject of how you're a lousy father and all that. Let's get into it. Let's get into why she said that.
I don't want to right now.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me talking about it. Because I'm the one who got screwed too when she did her crap. Little Miss Women's Shelter. Yeah, sorry about the language. But I cussed on the other thing I did too, so I don't really care. Because YouTube is screwing me on my views anyway, so it doesn't matter if I say a cuss word. They're gonna end up knocking like 5 people off my subscription list anyway. And they don't care for people that like the First and Second Amendment. So, and I'm not gonna be all like popular or do popular stuff just so I get more views. You know what I mean? Just it's hogwash. It's hogwash. Even Barb said she's all I'm not gonna beg people to subscribe to my channel because it's pathetic. The people that like you are gonna stick around. The ones who don't aren't gonna stick around. And there's people that have been unsubscribed and they didn't realize it. And that's fine because if they can't remember you, then obviously your channel ain't that important. So there's more channels that are more memorable than others apparently. You know what I mean? Like if they have a catchy punchline or something, then obviously people are gonna watch. But it's raining right now. Oh, you're losing sound on your router. Yeah, so her story is pretty interesting. Like when she goes to her little stupid little meetings, like where she gets her little coin for being sober and not using drugs. I bet she leaves a lot of stuff out in her story. I bet she leaves out vital pieces of information about why she screwed up. She just tries to play the pity pot crap, but she doesn't actually own up to anything she's done or the people that she's hurt in the process of her crap. And she doesn't even care about taking money from my boyfriend every month. She has no problem taking more of his money to pay for her car, to make her car payment every month. I just think it's absolutely disgusting. And I was driving my car earlier and it said check engine and then it turned off, but I didn't like that because that really pissed me off. And I see that ugly witch probably driving a brand new car and I'm driving an old car that's like almost as old as my daughter. I'm driving that around. And she gets to drive around a new car. All because she gets to work at a women's shelter. She thinks she's better than me. She ain't no better than me. She's just a gold digger is all she is. That's why I put on my video, I said gold digger, because she's a gold digger. Because if he got a job as a CEO of a company, she'd dig her claws right in. She'd try to take every dime he had. She would. She'd attach his wages, make sure she got everything he had. She'd probably file for alimony, even though it's too late, but she'd probably try it anyway. Yeah. He was paying, I think, almost 2,000 before for her. And she was using that money and she was using it for drugs. And I don't even think she was even paying her rent the last probably 6 months before they took him away from her. She probably wasn't even paying her rent. She was too busy spending it on herself, not on her bills. And she tried to act like she was a little Miss Susie homemaker, cleaning and all that. You know what it is? It's because she used so much meth that it made her hyperactive. Kind of like people use bath salts. Yeah, they shouldn't even be charging him anything. You know, as a matter of fact, she owes him money. She owes him thousands of dollars, thousands that she stole from him, that she just stole right out of his checking account, all his cash. She wrecked and stole, or he gave her almost a brand new Suburban. She threw that away, lost that car. It was a nice car too. She threw it in garbage. Nobody ever gave me anything nice, especially the father of my kids, other kids. They never gave me a damn thing. If anything, he took stuff from me. But I like talking crap about her because she ruined my holiday. She ruins every holiday. What should I say? She ruins every damn holiday. She would have ruined anyone's life. It wouldn't matter who she would have met. She would have ruined somebody's life and they'd probably be all depressed, fucked up because of her. And the father of her first child didn't stick around. I don't blame him. She's a piece of crap. She's not even worth the investment. So, and she sticks around in this community because she knows that she's got nothing else. Because nobody else cares about her. Nobody else anywhere in this entire area cares about her in this whole state, except for maybe her kids' uh, parents do. That's about it. Or grandparents do. That's about it. Yeah, so it was interesting watching some of these live streams, and they say the same thing, that they're losing subscribers and stuff all the time. I mean, I guess I don't have that many because my videos aren't that interesting. Because no one wants to hear probably this stuff anyway. Because I don't have a very exciting life. All I do is housekeeping, which is probably not much. And my check I just cashed was only $60. So I'm rolling in the dough here, big time. It's part of my privilege, right? For living, and I live in a really great state. I'd like to thank Gavin Newsom for keeping the borders nice and open, so that way in the next few years I'll be pushed out of my job for people that'll work for $5 an hour, right? But I'm trying to keep my cool and trying to keep my head together. And I'm glad I didn't go to that party because I'm probably considered to be the problem anyway, with quotations. I'm the one who ruined everything. That's why everything isn't all wonderful and perfect. But it ain't my fault. Like I said, she's the one who left him. She dumped him. She left him because he became poor. And then she didn't want to be with him anymore. She was wrong think. And now look at her. She's all by herself now. Nobody wants her. Even though she's got a house and a car, but nobody wants to be with her. The only guy that even wanted to be around her was this guy that's like a midget. And she just used him for his money, and she needed him to get her a moving van, so she moved to another house. And then she just used him like garbage. And that was the only boyfriend I think she had, besides some other idiot that tried to shoot her in the face with a gun. That's the only people that she can find to actually be around her. And it's not just because of her looks. It's because she sucks. She's a terrible person. And it's like every other day when we talk about stuff, her name always has to come up in the conversation. I've never heard her name so much being brought up. I don't even talk about my kid's dad, except maybe once in every 2 months, maybe I might bring his name up very briefly. But her ugly name always seems to come up. that ugly thing. She looks like she's got a big old butt. She looks like she could put a platter on it. Like it's actually it's like a balloon or something. Like someone sat on a balloon and made it flat with air in it. It's hard to describe. I know. I hate talking about her because she sucks. I hope she's having a terrible Christmas. And her ugly lesbian mother lives with a flat top lesbian. Maybe they can celebrate Islam together or something. Put on a burqa because they seem to love all this leftist stuff. When you get a chance, watch this. I'll explain some of what's happening at the local level. Are you talking about the local government here in my state? The changes? My whole state is a change. Yeah, this state's really going downhill. Can't even find decent housing here. Sucks. For what I spend a month on rent here, probably in another state, I could probably get a house for what we spend here a month on rent. But the problem is, um, what's the job market like? And it's expensive to have to move. And the old saying is what, even if you move, you take your problems with you, right? You can't really get rid of your problems when you move. That's what my dad did. My dad made us move to help my mom stop drinking. And it didn't work because she still drank anyway, even with us moving away. She drank probably more. So, and I always hated him for that, for making us move, because I liked where we lived. So it changed my life for the worst. And I ended up over here. I never really left here. Yeah, California's lucky there's anyone even left here that even wants to put up with this crap. They had a Democrat debate. It was the other day in Los Angeles, and they said they had to clean up the streets in Los Angeles so that these billionaire or millionaire, you know, donors would want to come down there, I guess, or fly down to Los Angeles. They wanted to clean up the neighborhoods over there. They didn't want them seeing the tents and the poo and all that, so they hired a crew to come out there to clean up the tents and throw it in the trash and relocate the homeless people temporarily, I guess. Just didn't look good, I guess, for the photo op when they were doing their outside interviews, I guess. They didn't want people seeing that's sickening. But that's how it works. Don't worry, they can't see you. Nobody can see you, Jesus. Jeez. No wonder I'm so damn negative. I'm not putting you in it. Jeez. Don't worry, I don't have enough viewers for anyone to make anything out of it. Especially not Tub Ass. She ain't gonna do nothing. What's she gonna do? Bang on my door? What's she gonna do? Beat me over the head with her stinking sobriety pin? I don't care about her. She always seems to be the focus of discussion around here. Sure gets a lot of attention for being nobody. They should move. Someone said that they should move all the homeless over to Hollywood. Just drop them all off there. Since they've already relocated them from Los Angeles to somewhere else, I don't know where they put them. They should put them in Hollywood. Just dump them off there. Then the Hollywood actors could get firsthand little taste of all the homeless. It'd be like down out in Beverly Hills, but literally tons of homeless. They need to experience it firsthand since they seem to hate Trump so much. They should have to deal with all the homeless. Yeah, of course they don't have to put up with it. The rich, they live in gated communities. They don't even have to look at it or smell it. But we do. We have to put up with it. And it's sad because these homeless, eventually they all go downhill and they find their body somewhere, decomposed body. You know, they found one. It was almost a year ago. They found this dead guy, and He's the son of my neighbor here that lives behind me. Her son died, and he'd been panhandling a lot. He had a chihuahua under his arm, and he would panhandle to get dog food, money for dog food. And they found his body last year. He was dead, leaning against a tree, not far from where I live. That's where they go. That's what happens to them. They just die. They just give up and they die. No one knows about it till they find the body. Think of all the dead they probably find in the cities. Dead homeless people, dead inside tents and all that. Pretty gross. Eventually they're going to move probably the disposal centers, probably where I live, where they can dispose of their needles, because eventually the needles will probably get a lot worse over here. And they're letting all these people from the southern border in here. All you see is a lot of is homeless white people, and then a bunch of Hispanic people all doing tree jobs and stuff. That's what you see. I know it's racist to say that, but it's true. I see it up here where I live. I saw these two Mexican guys get out of a Pepsi truck and were unloading crates of Pepsi, and I don't see white dudes doing it. It's because they work for half the pay. And then you see a homeless guy laying on the ground right nearby where they're unloading their truck. And that guy was probably a veteran at one time. Probably was in Vietnam, and he's living in dirt. And he's got rotten teeth and all that, and just stinky and dirty. Makes you mad. Because I used to be homeless, and I know the indignity of being homeless. And if we hadn't found this apartment, I don't know what we would have done. I don't have any idea. Actually, we did have an idea, but it was not logical. Was to build a log cabin on his parents' property, whether they liked it or not. Thank God we found the apartment, because they would have not been liking that shit. They'd been pissed, but that would have been too bad because I'm not putting my son in the dirt. And if it wouldn't have been his parents, I would have parked my ass on my parents' doorstep and said, it's time for you to take responsibility for your actions. You boomers made this country like it is. Now you're going to have to try to help me, because there's no affordable freaking housing. Thanks to you guys. And it's getting so bad that people are actually talking about boomers now because they live in a bubble. They think everything's great and perfect and wonderful, and they watch CNN and all that crap and Discovery Channel, and they think global warming is real, and they believe everything they hear. It's all a bunch of bull crap. They don't think that people are spraying chemicals on us. They don't believe it. Because they're at the end of their lives. They don't give a crap if they get stuff sprayed all over them. Because they just probably think it's just part of their bodies breaking down. Then why is there a bunch of people that are sick? No, there are boomers that do watch CNN. Sorry, sucks. But they do. How do you think CNN stays on the air? There's got to be some people that are boomers that are watching it. There are some. Because there are some that believe in their crap. That's how they're able to spout what they say. And it's sad because you look at Fox News, and Fox News is getting just as bad as all the liberal channels too. That Chris Matthews, he hates, you can tell that he's not really a Republican. Like you can tell that he's a rhino. He's a left-leaning rhino. Because, and whenever there's a conspiracy that comes out against Trump and there's no proof of it, and it's just starting to come out, the information, he just assumes that Trump is guilty immediately. And that's not fair reporting. He should wait till all the facts come out, and then he should make an analogy, but he never was. He never will do that. He never will. Because he hates Trump, you can tell. Yeah, it's bought. I think, wasn't it Disney or something that bought Fox or something? Just like it bought the Star Wars franchise. And no one likes Star Wars anymore because they've ruined the movie. They've ruined the whole series. They've ruined it. Because they went away from the formula. Yeah, I don't really watch Fox that much. I don't even watch Fox and Friends because they seem fake too. The host on that show, Fox and Friends, they don't seem like they're really on board with the being Republican. They just seem kind of like they're just paid robots. Yeah, like when something bad happens, you watch Fox and Friends, and they try to make light of it, like what's happening, but deep down, it's got to be enraging. You can't be all making jokes and stuff and look, I don't know. It's just that's how they do it. They try to make fun of everything, and it's not funny. It's annoying, and you want to just I don't want to say it because I'm on YouTube, but it makes you mad when you see that they're making light of it. Like the stupid Saturday Night Live, they made fun of Nancy Pelosi not turning in the articles of impeachment to Trump, and that stupid Alec Baldwin doing his Trump act, doing the thing with his lips and all that. It, it's just retarded. And they said the reason why she ain't turned in the articles of impeachment to the Senate is because she's trying to throw Mike Pence out of office. She's trying to link Mike Pence to the Ukraine conspiracy that they're still believing is true. They're trying to tie him in so they can impeach him too with Trump, so that we could have President Pelosi instead of President Pence. I guess they're that paranoid because they still have to deal with William Barr, and they're going to get rid of him because I think William Barr was appointed. So if Pelosi was president, she'd end up throwing William Barr out and then getting another attorney general. So I think that's what they want to do. And then they'll get a corrupted attorney general, and then none of the lefties are going to get investigated. They're just going to investigate all the Republicans, the ones that gave them grief during the congressional hearings, the ones that questioned their insanity, like Jim Jordan and all that, will be all under investigation, and they'll probably end up in jail, just like Flynn and all them. They'll all end up being thrown in jail for collusion or something. Yeah, they want President Pelosi. That's what they want. And then that AOC is so dumb. And did you see that when the dummies all thought that Trump got impeached, and they actually thought Trump was thrown out of office, and then they found out that it had to go through the Senate, and they got so mad they were like screaming at the sky. They were so mad. I thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh because they want to take away our guns, just like they are in Virginia. And they said this one guy did a video this morning about all these channels that are talking big talk about how people need to form a militia against the governor of Virginia to fight against the gun grab because they've already got the legislation in place to take their guns. And he goes, these big channels that talk about forming militias and fighting the governor and all that, they're not actually going to go out there and fight. And he goes, I hate to see innocent people get hurt, and you know, and there's not enough of them because not enough people are willing to get out there and do it. But people that are willing to go out there and get hurt because these big channels on YouTube told them to do it. So you're just warning people that don't think there's this huge movement, because what if you show up there against the Virginia government and there's hardly anybody there? You'll end up a creek without a paddle. You'll end up like the Proud Boys. You'll be outnumbered, and then they'll throw you in prison for trying to obstruct justice or something to that extent. Yeah, I would only go out there, and if I saw there was all the sheriffs and everything that were out there, and the police department, all that, were all out there to disobey the order, yeah, then I'd back them up. But if I didn't see any law enforcement out there disobeying the order from the governor, I don't know if I'd want to stick my neck out and get shot, killed, or whatever. Because their intention is to take registered guns. And they said they changed the law too over there. They said that people that have grandfathered guns, they have to now register those guns. They changed the rules. That's just so they can take all the guns away. That's just the whole idea, is take all the guns away. Even people that have they said grandfathered the guns in. We used to have an old rifle from his grandpa, but we had to pawn it off because we need the money. It's sad because he tried to go back to it was years and years ago. He tried to go back and get the gun out of the pawn shop, but it was gone. or something like that. So it's over with. We just can't afford nothing no more. All the money's been wiped out. So the last $2,000 we have is gonna probably have to go to a bankruptcy attorney, and there's no guarantee that they're gonna be able to fix this problem. You have to be careful. Some channels seem to want to start trouble, then it would be an excuse for martial law. Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Trump is doing anything about it too. That's what people are mad about. Is that he doesn't seem to be doing anything about the gun grab in Virginia, and that's only like less than 2 weeks that they're going to take the guns away from people in that state. It doesn't seem like Trump is doing anything about it. And he said, "Where the hell is President Trump, and where the hell is the NRA? Why are we giving our dues to the NRA, and they don't seem to be doing anything about what's going on in Virginia, especially the president?" That's unconstitutional to take away people's guns. They have a right to bear arms because they're not criminals and they have nothing in their background. They have a clean background. That's how they're able to keep their guns. Because if you're a felon, you can't own a gun. So the people that own guns in that state are felons, and they didn't ask. That's not justified to take their guns. So President Trump should be doing something about that, because if they take their guns from people in that state, they're going to take the guns from the rest of the states. And I think that's the spark that the Democrats want to start. Because if nobody shows up for that militia, I think it's January 20th or something, whatever, they're going to take their guns and they're going to take them by force. And those people that don't give up their guns will probably be killed or arrested or something. And it's going to be a nightmare. And Trump isn't going to do a damn thing. I haven't heard him say a damn thing about Virginia, what's going on in Virginia. Have you? I haven't heard him make a peep over it. All he's talked about is that stupid impeachment. If I was him, I wouldn't worry about that stupid impeachment. They're not going to impeach him. What he needs to do is throw the damn criminals in prison. Get William Barr to throw these criminals in goddamn prison. That's what he needs to do. He's got enough evidence. He's got Joe Biden on tape admitting to things he's done. He's got enough evidence. Why doesn't he do that? Why doesn't he fire all the FBI and CIA people? Fire all of them and hire new people. Fix our justice system. That's what he should do. And he should be in Virginia right now, and he should be pushing up against that governor and saying, if you take away these people's guns unconstitutionally, I'm going to arrest you and have you thrown in prison. You're breaking the law. You're violating these people's rights. It's in our Constitution, and our Constitution is still in play. But he's not doing it. He's just sitting around talking about the stupid impeachment, the witch hunt. We already get it's a witch hunt. Now let's move on to bigger stuff. They're not going to throw him out. It's just a show. It's to distract us from the things they're really doing. He was in no danger of them impeaching him and throwing him out of office. And I think the Democrats knew it. It's just a way to screw with us and cause more division in this country. That's all it is. And discourage people and think, oh, if you're a Republican, you need to be intimidated by these people. That's why they deemed the Proud Boys a terrorist organization, because they don't want people forming groups or organizations because they're too afraid. They don't want to end up going to prison like what happened to the Proud Boys. And all they were doing was defending themselves, and they ended up getting thrown in jail for that. So now people, I think, are being careful about what groups they're involved in, because they don't want to get in trouble. And it doesn't seem like Trump is doing anything about it. Very little. He's doing very little about anything. And, I do support him, but he needs to do something about this garbage going on. He said he was going to send the feds over to California if Gavin Newsom didn't do anything about the homeless, and he's not done anything about it. What Newsom should be doing is throwing all these illegals out of our state. He should be working with ICE and rounding these people up that are illegal, that have no documentation. Don't put them in holding centers. Put them on buses and drive them back over the border. That's what he should be doing. And then the jobs that these illegals were holding, their jobs like in meat markets or whatever, packaging companies, give those jobs to the homeless people. That's what he should be doing. That would be a good thing to do. Democrat or Republican, do it. That's what he should be doing. But he's not. He's choosing to keep everybody in this state in poverty except for people that don't belong here. And anyone says I'm wrong, they're wrong. Because I don't even know why people voted for that stupid governor. Because they thought they were gonna get free stuff. They want all free stuff. Yeah, they keep urging people to be violent. If the right doesn't act, then they're not true either. Yeah. But most of all, we need President Trump to be the one to light the fire under people's butts and telling people that he's 100% behind us if we want to start something against the left, that he's going to support us, and William Barr's going to support us, and that if that governor of Virginia doesn't stand down, that he's going to be arrested because he's breaking the damn law by violating these people's rights to bear arms. You can't take away their guns. There's nothing in our laws that says you can take away guns. Just because there's a few people that shot people, those people were crazy, wasn't the gun. And everybody knows that. But I feel bad for those people in that state, the people that own guns. What I would do if I was them, I just, as sad as it would be, is to leave that state and take your guns with you and go to another state where they're tolerant of guns. That's what's going to happen. They said that state's turning blue anyway because they keep letting all these illegals in. From what I've read, they're just letting all these people in, and that state's turning more blue. So they're going to be blue majority. So most of these dummies in that state are going to be all for the gun grab. So I say the people that are Republican that own guns, just get out of that state. We got to almost like we have to band together, because if we don't, we're going to lose. If we get scattered and we get surrounded by these rats, Democrats, we're going to get squashed. And that's the point I'm making about these scumballs in our society, just these leeches of society, all in it for themselves. Yeah, the link is like way up there in the comment section. I have to scroll. Yeah, good thing is YouTube saves your live stream. It saves the comments. So if you want to look at the live stream again, the comments, you can always look at them again. So YouTube does have its perks, because the other websites that I've been on, they're not as convenient to use, to figure out. They're not as easy to add things or take things off. I don't know, it's just not organized enough. That's why YouTube doesn't care if you do or don't want an account with them, because they have so many other people have accounts, and all these other, I guess, people have ads. But I think it's unfair that YouTube says, oh, if you put it, your videos are for 18 or older, you don't get monetized, you don't qualify for any monetization or ads or anything. It's like, that's rude. It's just more of the same. You know what I mean? It's like, but then that rule doesn't apply to people that are immoral, that put videos up that are immoral. They probably say, oh, you're still qualified for monetization, even if it's for adults, as long as it's adult information that's immoral information and it's wrong information. People in other countries are voting against this craziness. They may be afraid and want to get power before they're all voted out. And so that's what we should be doing here. We should be voting all these Democrats out of office because they're evil. The worst Republican is better than the best Democrat. Sad but true. We need to get them all out of here. That's all you can do, is get them out of here. I'd rather have Republicans, even if there's a couple of rogue ones in the bunch, they can still be changed and conditioned and threatened. Just like the Democrats do. They threaten each other. Like they did with that New Jersey congressperson that was a Democrat and he changed into Republican because they threatened him. They said if he didn't vote yes on the impeachment of Trump, that they would find a way to kick him out of office and make to where he wouldn't win his district again. That's messed up, threatening people with a vote. So he dropped out of the Democrat Party and now he's a Republican. So I hope he stays there, because it's morally the right thing to do. Because probably deep down he had Republican ideas. He liked probably the Democrat unions or something. That's why he stayed in it. But then you realize how corrupt they are, and they like to drink baby blood and stuff. So he probably just bowed himself out. He didn't want to sell his soul to the devil. But I'm only guessing because I don't know him personally. But the Democrats probably all hate him and stuff. But it's his life. They've been breaking the laws all over the place, and they are still in power. Yep. People in other countries, yeah, I read that. That's what I mean. The Dems are in trouble. So it's grab power now before the elections. Right. Yeah, you know that fire that's in Australia? There's a guy that has a video up. He doesn't have a lot of subscribers, but he just recently found a baby bird that was in his yard, and the mama bird was in his yard, but she drowned in a water trough because he has a farm. But she didn't drown because of the water. She drowned because she was already sick from the chemicals that they sprayed on the trees and stuff. It made the mother bird sick, and then the fire started, and she died. And she left behind that little baby bird, and he's been taking care of it for almost 2 weeks. And that little baby bird sticks around his property. It only leaves for like half a day, and it flies back. It's a really cute video of that, and he was kind of random. But he has a couple other animals that have come onto his property that are victims of the fire too. But he thinks it's because they spray chemicals all over the trees and stuff, the chemtrails, and then the fire was set on purpose. And some people believe that China's trying to buy off all the land in Australia, push people off their land over there. And some people theorize that it's the same as the Paradise Fire, just a larger scale, like more people, more land than Paradise. I don't know, maybe the land in that country is more desirable and they're trying to grab that land. Because it doesn't seem like China's buying any land in Paradise. It just seems like they're more interested in the Australia, I guess. The climate or something. They like the climate. I'm not sure. But we'd heard theories about it, about China and their role that they play. And they don't like being pushed out of the marketplace by Trump sanctioning them because they don't want to buy any of our products. They just want us to buy their products because they make cheaper versions of our stuff. And it's not right. I think they steal our patents or whatever because they hack into the systems and they steal the designs. That's what I've heard. And then they come out with it, and then we come out with the same product, but they sell it for cheaper, and it's usually crappy stuff that they make, and it breaks. But our stuff in our country usually is good stuff. But they're drowning us out. China's drowning out our industry here, and we need to do something about China. I mean, I like the fact that Trump is bringing it up and everything, but he needs to address the cyber hacking that China's been doing because they're getting into our stuff and they're stealing our designs, and they copycat us and all that. They have all of our American stuff over in their country, but they treat their people like crap. They don't pay them any wages hardly, and they have these I heard they have these suicide nets in these factories so that the Chinese people don't kill themselves because they work like dogs. I'd hate to be a Chinese person because I wouldn't even want to live if I had to wake up every day and have to work like a dog every day and then not be able to leave until dark. It's not a life. It's sad. You should have at least a couple of days off. Or better yet, if you just only want to work one day, it should be your choice how many days a week you want to work, not till you just collapse. But like a lot of the stuff we have is obviously made in China, and these poor people don't get paid much to build this stuff or make this stuff for us. We should be making it in our own country. But a lot of the pollutants they say it comes from China and Japan because they don't respect the environment over there. But apparently the Democrats respect China a lot, but they get after our country for polluting, but they don't go after China for their smokestacks and all that. It's just a bunch of crap. But it should be our top brass people talking about this stuff. It should be us talking about it. It should be top tier people in our government that should be discussing these things, not us, because we don't have any power. We don't have any say so. They do. They're the ones who hold the cards to whether things go or stay. We don't. All we can do is bark at them, but they're the ones with the power. And I wish there was some way to get a hold of President Trump. And even if I did write a letter to him, he probably wouldn't even, his people probably wouldn't even really read it because they probably get hundreds and hundreds of those every day, people writing letters to the president. So good luck with that, right? Good luck with them responding to real serious questions. If industry to return to the US, there wouldn't be the need to import. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there seriously, what do we need from China that's so important that they have? It's so irreplaceable for us. I don't think there's anything that we need from China. They need from us, they need our corn and our wheat because they can't grow it in their country because I guess the climate, they can't grow corn and wheat. So we've got them on that because they need the corn and the wheat because they need to make bread and stuff because their people probably just like we do, they enjoy grains and bread. So we've got them. Why doesn't Trump get them on that? Just say we're not buying from you. We're not buying any of your shit, and you're going to buy from us, and we're going to charge you a huge tariff to buy our crap because we need to catch up because our country's broke and we need to fix our roads and our bridges. So we're going to charge you a huge tariff to buy our corn and our wheat because we're tired of you crap because you rejected all of our stuff. So now we're going to charge you an arm and a leg to buy our corn and our wheat to make up for all the years of our stupid leaders, the past 2, 3 leaders that haven't done anything to fix our country. And it doesn't matter if it's Democrat, Republican, because look at those stupid Bushes, right? Just because they're Republican didn't mean they were any good. They turned out to be no better than Democrats. They didn't do anything to fix our economy. They actually crashed it. Because I remember there was a time when they were letting everybody buy houses. I mean, I could have bought a house back then, for God's sake, back in the 90s. With the money I made, they might have actually let me do it. But actually, I'm glad they didn't let me do it because I wouldn't have been able to make the payment. But I would have lost my house. So live and learn. I had to live in a crappy apartment. But I learned a lot, though, when I lived in that crappy apartment. I learned that I don't like living in an apartment. That's what I learned. That's why they want to censor the internet to stop people from sharing information. Yeah, they already are censoring us. They're dropping people's subscribers off of their channel, and there's nothing you can do about it. At least I don't think there is. There's nothing you can do about it. And there's people that I like, and they got like 700, 800 subscribers, and they only get like maybe 100 views in like 4 days. And it's like, that's not fair. They should have more than that. But obviously, YouTube doesn't like something that they said maybe on a previous video, and they decided to cut back on their views. It's just the way it is. And then they allow all this immoral crap. You look on what's trending, and it's got millions of views. Say, what is Kim Kardashian gonna eat for dinner? And it's like 1 day old, the video. It's like 3 million views because everybody cares about what she's cooking for dinner tonight. Why? But yet another guy uploads a video about the cancer rates in this country, why they're skyrocketing, and he only gets maybe 600 views in 2 days because nobody cares. They're all too busy worried about stupid crap. And I don't care about any of those people. I don't sit there. I don't follow celebrities and stuff and idolize them because they're just people. They're no better than we are. They just have nicer stuff. That's about it. But when they die, they ain't taking it with them. What do they think they are? Egyptians or something? Buried in all their gold and crap. Yeah, but yeah, I know you don't care what she's cooking or eating, right? But a lot of other people do. Apparently, everyone worried about what she's having for dinner, what their kids are, what kind of clothes their kids like to wear, right? What brands that their kids love, or they're opening their. It says Kardashians opening their Christmas presents. and everybody's all tuned into that. They want to see what they got for Christmas, or they want to watch them going swimming or something. It's like, why do we care? Why do I care about you? Just we live in a stupid world, but yet we have people, all these people that are sick and everything, and they can't figure out why they're sick and why our skies aren't blue anymore. Why they're all striped, full of stripes. Nobody looks up in the sky and like worries about what's going on with our air and why all these birds and stuff are dying and things. Nobody's paying attention. Everybody's too busy worrying about celebrities and movies and video games. They're not worried about why they have nosebleeds all the time, why they have headaches, and why they feel tired all the time, or why they feel depressed when they shouldn't really feel depressed. They don't even think about it. They're busy worrying about stuff. Sorry, it's probably going in and out because the speaker on this thing is on the right hand side. So if I move over to the left, it makes it kind of get choppy. Happens every single time. But when I put my um, laptop on my bed, it seems to even out okay. But when I put it here, it gets all weird, I guess. And I noticed you're right because when I look back on the video and I watch it, there's parts of it they're all chopped up. I like to watch my video after I make it because sometimes I'll forget what I was talking about for like 2 hours because it was so long. And it's like I look at it, I go, how do I have all this crap in my head? But it's amazing our brains, how much stuff we can store inside of our brains all at once. Things we remember from a long time ago, still remember it. Like when I smell something, it'll make me think of something I remembered when I was smaller. Like earlier, I smelled like a campfire smell, like wood, and it kind of reminded me of a house fire. You know that smell? It smells like wood. It's kind of a good smell, but then it's negative too because it means a house is on fire. But it smells really good. It's like a nice, clean smell. So yeah, I don't watch any of the trending stuff. I just mostly watch right wing stuff, which most likely is why YouTube doesn't let me have any views, which is fine because I never really had any views to begin with. But if I do a anti Bernie Sanders video, man, let it rip. All the crazy Bernie people are going to start attacking me. And they'll only attack me for like a couple of days and then they fall off. Yeah, there's certain smells of things that remind me of things that I remember. Just like, I don't know, certain smells will make me think of when I lived in Oroville, like a certain smell or something I see remind me of it. Like dragonflies remind me of Oroville when I lived there because I used to see a lot of dragonflies over there. I don't see too many over here. Probably because I don't want to see them here because I don't really like it here that much. I know it sounds ungrateful to not like where you're at, but it's just not somewhere I dreamed I'd end up being here. Because this town I live in, this is the town that we used to have to come to when I was a kid to go grocery shopping. And that was it. And it was hot here in the summer. That's all I remember about this area because my mom never liked it over here. She didn't like this town. So, and she doesn't like the big cities. She hates the big city. Even though she was born in the city, she didn't like the city. It's too crowded. Yeah, so and also being a housekeeper, you get all these different smells too. You smell like bad smells, good smells. Like sometimes you'll smell bananas. Like someone will peel a banana and they'll throw the banana peel in the trash and it'll smell like banana bread in the room when the room's warm. It's kind of weird. It's like, wow, why the hell does it smell like banana bread? There's no way they had banana bread and there's bananas in the trash. You're like, oh, that's why. Or you'll smell like feet, dirty feet, that kind of smell, and then you smell mildew, all kinds of nasty stuff. But you get so used to it after a while, you don't even care. Or the smell of new carpet, it kind of has like a rubbery smell. So like this front desk lady's all, oh, new carpet stinks. She can't stand the smell of it. She was like, oh, it's disgusting. But I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad. I've smelled worse things than new carpet. It just smells like burnt rubber. That's about it. But I'm getting along okay with my job. I've, I've learned to get along with everybody for the most part. I know people are moody sometimes, so am I. So I'm not gonna get triggered like some people do if somebody's kind of in a bad mood that day. I just stay out of their way because some days I have bad days. That's why I'm glad we have YouTube because it's kind of like a video library. That's what someone said earlier. I think it was you that said it. It's a library. It's like a diary without having to write it all down. Because I used to write everything down on paper before I started doing this. I used to write everything down, but it was took so long to write everything. But my life it's got too much stuff in it. And my crazy sister, she decides to call or text me out of nowhere. She didn't talk to me for like 2, 3 weeks. She's like wanting to dump her kids off here to spend the night. It's because she's annoyed by them. It's like that's not a reason to bring them over here. And plus, I don't want all this chaos because I got enough stimulation right now. I just experienced a bunch of trauma yesterday. I don't want any more crap right now. And this time of year is very stressful. And it's not genuine. Her asking her kids to come here. It's not genuine. It's just she's just trying to find a way to get a break. You know what I mean? It's not very nice thing to do. Because she used to do that to me all the time. Like she'd come down, and she'd have her kids and she'd knock on my door. I didn't even know she was down there or where I was at. She'd knock on my door, she'd have her kids, and she'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be down here for a few hours, and I need you to watch my kids so I can go shopping because I don't want to bring my kids because I want to be able to get some shopping done without them distracting me." And she wouldn't even ask me if I wanted to watch her kids. She would just assume I was gonna watch her stinking kids. And her husband didn't want to watch her kids. So I always got stuck watching her kids a lot. Like sometimes she'll ask me to come down to her house where she lived and watch her kids because she wanted to go to Modesto or something. And she just, I don't know, because her husband didn't want to watch them. So sometimes I would do that and he'd be right there watch TV and I look at that, I go, and I ask her, I'm like, well, your husband's home. Why doesn't he watch them? And she's like, well, he's busy. He's doing other things today. It's like, why doesn't your husband just watch your stinking kids? Why didn't you meet? He's home. It's his day off. Why doesn't he watch his own damn kids? Go play with his kids or something. Why do you need me to come down and watch your kids? It just didn't make sense to me. And you know what? I always took my kids with me. I never had nobody really anyone to watch my kids. Like if I need to go to the store, I'd drag my kids everywhere. They'd go with me to the doctor, the store, everywhere I went. They all had to go. The two my little kid when they were little all had to go with me everywhere. It was kind of awkward. They had to go to the dentist, everything with me, and they had to be. The only one who didn't behave was my daughter. She never behaved. She always was a little turd. Whenever I took her in the dentist office, when I had an appointment, she would get in the drawers and stuff and kind of be sneaky. And then my son never did anything. He would just sit there like a statue. He never did nothing. But my daughter, she's a little tyrant. She was like that kid from Home Alone, just a little shit. That's what she reminded me of, like a girl version of that kid, just sneaky little turd. Like one time she took a pair of scissors and my son had just got a remote control car and it had one of those, you had to plug it in to charge it, the battery that's inside of the car. So I put the little bike on the charger, the little car on the charger, and it had it on the countertop. He just got it. I think his grandparents or something bought it for him, and I was charging it for him so he could play with it out in the driveway. And my daughter, she got a pair of scissors and she twisted it on the cord that charges into the wall, and it melted onto the scissors. I'm like, I smelled something burning, and the scissors had melted onto the cord, the plug-in cord, and I unplugged it, and I was like, oh my god, she about burned the damn house down when she did that. I mean, she just, ooh, that kid. That's why her dad didn't like being around her that much because she was sneaky he used to call her Sneaky Snake because she would do little sneaky things. And it was kind of a accurate depiction because she's always in things. She's very mouthy and very, I don't know, very bossy, that kind of thing. So, and she's still that way now. She didn't change. She's very mouthy and very opinionated about everything. And she just thinks that she's teaching me all the time about stuff, like she's educating me, even though I'm the one who raised her, but she assumes that she's the one teaching me things now. Yeah, I think you can't expect other people to watch your children. Just because you ask them doesn't mean they're going to watch them. And you should just expect to have to take your kids everywhere. When they're little, you have to drag them all over the place. And you can't expect your parents or whoever to always have to carry the brunt of all the work because you don't want to have to take them around. Kids are going to have to learn how to behave. And if they don't behave, they get spanked. Then they learn how to behave. But if you don't ever take them in anywhere, they're not going to learn how to behave. Like my son, I took him in the store the other day and he didn't like it and all that. And he was hanging off the cart and all that because he didn't want to be there. But after a while, he got used to it and he just followed me around the store because he knew he wasn't going to get out of it, and he knew acting out wasn't going to get him anywhere. Because I told him, I said, if you act bad in the store, I'm going to unplug your PlayStation. And he was like, oh, wait, no, because I would unplug it, and you wouldn't be able to use it if you if you ended up being a little jerk. I just unplug it, and he would deserve it too because I'm not going to throw empty threats at him. You know what I mean? Empty threats are not good. Kids need actual consequences to being little turds. And I've always tried to do that with my kids. If they were bad, they would experience the consequence. If I told them not to do something, they didn't listen to me. They didn't get the privilege because I'm not just going to reward them for being naughty or give them treats to make them act better. But maybe that's why they came out to be half decent. But they still got the problems. We live in a secular world. They've absorbed a lot of the left stream media crap, so it undid some of the work I did. But I always tried to teach them to not be materialistic and to appreciate what they did have. And I always bought a lot of their clothes from the secondhand store and just to teach them to appreciate what they had. And they didn't have a lot when I bought them stuff from the secondhand store. But unfortunately, their grandparents bought them a ton of stuff because their both sets of grandparents had money. So they bought them a lot of stuff, and it kind of undermined what I try to teach them because they would get so many toys and stuff that mostly my daughter, she would break a lot of the stuff that she got. And I would look at that and I would go, man, when I was a kid, I wish I would have got a brand new Barbie doll house and all these dolls and these brand new dresses and stuff and hats and jackets and shoes and a brand new comforter for your bed. All these little nice things, they're all very nice and new. And CB radios, little walkie talkies, stuff like that. They'd get all kinds of stuff. And mostly my daughter was ungrateful. My son, he was okay. He didn't really act like that, but he didn't really care about the stuff either. He didn't break it, but he didn't appreciate it very much because he had a lot of stuff. And his dad was materialistic, very materialistic. Like he would expect when it was Christmas that they would get a ton of toys. So he would deliberately take all the toys, their old toys, out of the toy box and throw them away because he said they were going to get a whole bunch of stuff anyway, so they could throw it all away. And I looked at that and I go, well, what a waste. They're not going to appreciate anything that they have if you throw everything away and give them all. And I told him, I said, your parents might as well just back up a truck and just dump all the toys into our front room. That's what they're doing. And they'd get so many toys and presents that they were overwhelmed by it. And it undermined what I was trying to teach them. Like they always had tons of stuff. And my own mother told me, she's like, oh, when they get older, the grandparents probably won't buy as much stuff. They'll probably buy them less stuff. It wasn't true because they kept buying them more stuff anyway. They still kept buying them more stuff. And so it never really stopped. Even after we moved out of the house, after I moved out of the house and we got our own place, they were still bringing tons of stuff for them. They still, when they'd go down to their grandparents, they would still get a big old bunch of stuff. and they'd come back to my house and they'd have tons of new stuff they just got. So it never really stopped. And I think it's still true to this day. They're still getting tons of stuff, just clothes and stuff. Like my daughter, I can tell she gets tons of stuff because when my daughter, she was homeless for like 2 months, and I didn't know it. She was living up here where I live. She had so much stuff, and I think because her grandparents are still buying her stuff. But she finally did get her crap together, and she did go back down the Bay Area, and she got a job, and hopefully she keeps her job and doesn't become homeless again. She's a lot more smarter with her money, but I can't control that because it's her thing. She's got to do what she's got to do, and she's got to grow up and hopefully meet the right person and not be irresponsible and end up being homeless again, which is really foolish. But she lives in the Bay Area, so you know how expensive that is. So she's got to have a lot of money every month. So she needs to get a good job. Yeah, you have to learn self-discipline early. Yeah, when I cashed my check, I even wrote on my bank statement, well, I guess I can't spend any money. I even wrote that to myself as a note. Well, I guess I have no money now. I got to save it. Yeah, no appreciation. It was probably the downfall of mostly my daughter, not my son. My son, he's not really materialistic. Like he can live on, he can wear the same pants. It's like he can have 2 pairs of jeans and wear those all year round. My daughter has to have like 30 pairs of jeans to wear all year round. But I guess it's a guy thing. But he never really cared about the stuff. Like he could wear just about anything and not care. But their grandparents are very materialistic. They're worried about the image, the way things look and all that. And they want everyone to think that they have something. But I don't live like that. It already did undermine my teaching when they did that because I kept asking him to stop doing that. I said, instead of buying him a bunch of stuff, toys and crap, I said, can you put the money in a trust fund or something? So when they graduate from high school, that they can use that money for college or something. And they never listened to me. They just kept buying more stuff. And if they weren't buying, and then when they were buying, on top of buying them stuff, they'd write them a check for their birthday. And at first, they would give the birthday check to their dad to cash the check and give him the money. But it turned out he wasn't giving them the money. He would just cash the check and keep the money for himself. And they figured it out after a while because the kids weren't getting their money because they told the grandparents that they didn't get their money. So they wrote instead they started writing the checks to me, and then I'd cash the check because I had a checking account, and I'd give them the money when I cashed the checks. So that's the way it went, and that's the way it was after we moved out and got our own place too. They would write the birthday check to me, and then I'd give them the money because they didn't even trust their own son to not steal from his own kids. But he's the one who has to live with that memory, not me, because I'd never steal from my own children. That's their birthday money from their grandparents because they deserve it. It's their blood. Want more than they can use and worry about what people think. Yeah, they're worried about what people think of what they drive, where they live, what they wear, who they know, vacations, all that, where they feel like they have to pamper themselves in order to feel okay about themselves if they're good enough for everyone else to be their friend. I could be just as happy even though it's not a very exciting place. I would love to go to Bodie again, even though I've already been there 3 times. I went there first time when I was 15, second time when I was 34 or 35, and then we just went there we went there last summer. So, and I loved it. And it's just a town that's, falling apart. But that's what I love about it because it's a piece of history, and I love, even though I'm not very knowledgeable about history, but I like things that are old because I don't like the new stuff too much. Because you can sense the history in the town, you can sense it. And people used to have to make things homemade and all that. You could really appreciate that because people have forgotten how to take care of themselves. I know people like that want more than they can use and worry about what people. Yeah, I just read that, but I don't care what people think. I don't. I don't care. I don't care. I'll probably end up buying another used car when I get my tax refund, and it's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be mine. As long as it's the engine sound, everything else can be fixed, right? As long as the engine's good, and if all you have to do is buy a starter, and that's the only thing really wrong with it, then I can handle that. Just needs little parts here and there once in a while. I can do that. If I get enough hours at my job, I can afford the car parts, keep it running. May not be a four-wheel drive though. That's what is being pushed so much media. Appearances mean more than substance. Yeah. Yeah, and they keep pushing the same narratives. I'm not going to get into any specifics, but if you look at some of this stuff, they're pushing a narrative and they want people to think that's normal. And a lot of these aren't normal. They're demonic and wrong. And they keep pushing all this witchcraft and all this other stuff. It's just insane. Did you see that stupid nutball Jane Jane Bond? What's her name? Jane Bond. Jane Fonda. She got arrested today on her birthday because she was protesting in front of the Senate's in front of the Senate because of global warming. She was in D.C. and she was protesting global warming in front of the senators' offices or the Senate. So the Senate building, I should say. So she's stupid. And there's a bunch of other people that were there with their protesting global warming because we backed out of the Paris Climate Accord, and she's mad about it. And then she was mad about they said a lot of the veterans hate Jane Fonda because she said that the Vietnam veterans were baby killers and stuff, and they got attacked when they came back over to America when the war was over. A lot of the veterans got treated like dirt, probably partially thanks to her and her demonizing it, the whole thing. And those people put their lives on the line for us. So she's a piece of garbage for that. And I'm surprised she's even still allowed to have a voice after what she said about our veterans. She's stupid. And global warming is not real. So she was spouting two different things that aren't true. The veterans weren't terrorists and there's no global warming. And she hates President Trump and she has like really bad Trump derangement syndrome. And she hates capitalism. She hates the whole thing. Does she get arrested every week? I don't know about every week, but she needs to be arrested permanently and put into a mental institution. They need to they need to reopen these mental institutions and put people like her in them. You know what I mean? People that vote Democrat need to be tested psychologically to see what's wrong with them. And if there are something wrong with them psychologically, they need to be locked up because liberalism is a mental disorder. And I think it's true. They get delusional and they start making up stuff that's not even true. Like Mad Maxine Waters was saying, "Oh, Trump is so deep into the Russia collusion and the Kremlin or whatever that he's going to end up inviting Putin over the White House and he's going to get our nuclear codes and all that, right? And Russia's going to be spying on us all the time and interfering in our election again. And Trump's going to allow it because he's going to want Republicans to win both the House and Senate." She's insane. The Russians aren't part of anything, part of our elections at all. They have no say so. And if she's so freaking worried about it, then why don't we go back to paper ballots? She doesn't want to go back to paper ballots because she knows that she and her other Democrats won't win because they can't. It's harder to cheat when there's paper ballots because they have to sneak them in a back room and they get caught. Like what happened to Matt Gaetz. He caught that witch doing that. What's her name? I can't remember the name of the person he was running against, but they caught him. And if they had caught him sneaking in those ballots, that person might have won and he might have lost. So it's good. It's good to have paper ballots because it's harder to cheat. If the Dems keep it up, someone's going to start a new party for real liberals and centrists. Yeah. Yeah, it's called the Party of Deplorables because I don't think Trump is literally a Republican. He just took the Republican ticket because independents aren't going to win. So that's why he picked a side because he doesn't support Democrat values because they don't work. And Republican values is the closest he's got to what he was trying to do. Yeah. They're starting in Virginia. And I think if they're successful in Virginia and the people of that state end up submitting to the gun confiscation, they're going to spread it out to other states. And they're going to do it by gunpoint, literally, if they succeed in that state. I think it's the starting point. I think it is. And I'm not sure why that governor picked January as being the date that he's going to do this and why there's this rush to take guns away from people when it's proven it's not the gun, it's the person that's killing people. They should take away knives too because there's a rise in knife attacks, people being stabbed with knives. How about that girl in New York that got stabbed by these three black kids, stabbed with a knife, and it was all because she wanted to buy some weed in the New York, whatever that park, Central Park or whatever. She wanted to buy some weed. She ended up losing her life for it. And it's a new craze, I guess. These black nationalists, they want to stab people. And the other night when I was doing that live stream, there was all these two or three of them that claimed they were black people, and they were putting all this racist stuff up about me. And I think I think some of them um, affiliate themselves with that black nationalist party. That's what I'm thinking. And that's why these numbers are growing. And I don't know how big these militia numbers are growing because I don't hear much about it. We see it on YouTube, but where's the actual groups? Like, where are these groups meeting at? Because if we want to fight against the government and try to stop these leaders from taking our guns and our rights away, where people need to start actually forming groups, like kind of like the Black Panthers and all them did. We need to do the same, and they're gonna win if we don't fight back. We're gonna lose everything. And then where are we gonna be? We're gonna have a leader like Bernie Sanders is what we're gonna have, and we're gonna lose our traditions, our values. We're gonna sleep with a knife under our pillow because we're worried about who's out the door, who's outside your door, like crazy people, like that. Like last night when that whoever it was banging on my door. It's like a big, like 5 or 6 raps on my door. There's something weird happening. And that one guy, that Die Bullfrog guy, he noticed that there's some weird stuff going on where he lives too. Just some weird stuff going on in his environment. And it's hard to explain, but it's very subtle and it's not like right in your face. It's very strange. But I think everybody who's making these videos is experiencing weird things. And we're also experiencing reduced numbers of people watching and people subscribing. Also, that weirdness. But you know what? It's been going on for so long that we don't even care anymore. We know that everything's going down and that my channel's never going to be worth any money, and I don't want any money anyway. It wouldn't feel right making money just doing this. I'd rather meet the actual people that watch my channel and we could talk a bunch of crap. That'd be fun actually, but we're probably from different states or whatever, so it'd be kind of impossible. And if you're on a fixed income, probably not going to happen unless you want to take food out of your mouth or rent money away from your place. So that's what stops a lot of people is they can't afford it. They can't really afford to go travel somewhere and go do things that they want to do. They'd like to, like some people go, I can only support you in prayer. I can't support you financially, or I can't come down. I can't march with you or whatever. Back when Obama was president and there was these people that wanted to protest Obama, and the Iran deal and all that, but most people couldn't afford to fly out to DC to protest President Obama. So that didn't happen. But they meant well. But see, we just don't have enough of us that actually give a crap. Most of us are just trying to pay our stupid bills. That's about it. I bought most of my vehicles at state auction. I looked for your area and here is the link. It would be different states. Oh, we bought I know about um car auctions. Was it a police auction? Because sometimes they'll have nice cars on those police auctions, and there are those cars that got seized when people got pulled over for drugs or something, and then they end up losing their car. But some of these suck. It's SOBs that lost their car deserve to lose their car because they're pieces of crap. Sayonara. Their loss, your gain. They should have thought about that before they became a dirtbag. Yeah. We're not gonna know until 2020 how many people actually are leaving the left. Now, if Trump actually gets the popular vote and the electoral, both, he gets he wins both, I'd be extremely shocked. But it would be nice though, wouldn't it, to actually show the real demographics of people that are switching over. But like they said, people are saying the Democrats are burying themselves. Every time they say what they say, the foolish things they say, they're actually making it worse for themselves. They're making themselves seem more corrupt and evil. Like they don't learn anything from what they've done and try to make changes and like try to connect with people. They just end up alienating themselves even more by looking more and more jealous. It's like a jealous ex that's can't get over their boyfriend, ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. They just keep stalking him and complaining about him all the time. It looks pathetic. It's kind of like a Democrat, I guess. They're like a jealous ex that sees their ex with somebody else and they can't stand it and they just complain about him and try to sabotage him. So Trump must be an ex, look like an ex to them. And they're very jealous that his family's mostly nice people. I don't know about Jared Kushner being so nice, but the rest of them seem like they're all right people. The problem is, will the election be fixed? I can't see. Get out of the way. I don't want to look at Owen Benjamin. I can't get this thing off here. I'm trying to get this DLive thing off my computer because it's blocking my. There, now it's gone. Bye bye. Yeah, it's just something I don't want to watch right now. Popped up on here and I couldn't get it to go off, and I didn't want to end up clicking on it and opening it. So we already know the election's going to be fixed because they keep talking about Putin interfering in the elections. So you know that they're interfering, the Democrats. You know that they're playing with those voting machines. That they're gonna, when you vote Republican, it's gonna click over to Democrat. Most likely, right? And you think, yay, I voted for Donald Trump, and it probably voted for a Democrat instead. And you think, and you got your little ticket stub that tells you voted, and actually, when it went through, it went Democrat. I don't know if I trust those stupid machines because you don't know if it even counted your vote or if you even went to the vote you clicked on. It's just better to get a paper ballot because then you got to fill in the little squares with a pen and then sign it. And then I would take a screenshot of it, of your vote and your ballot number and all that, just in case there's any problems, like a recount that needs to be done. You have proof of your vote. That's what people said last time is a screenshot, take a picture of your ballot and do a paper ballot and make sure if there's a recount, you have proof of your ballot and your ballot number. Of course they do. Yeah, they're tired of capitalism. They're tired of people bringing industry over here. They want people dependent on the government. And Trump is saying there's more and more people getting off welfare, food stamps, and all that because they are getting people into jobs. But I don't know what he's going to do about the homeless. Yeah, that's not my idea. That's someone else's idea. I just remembered it. Someone said screenshot. your ballot. So people should repeat that information to everybody else that doesn't remember that information from last time, that it should be repeated. Just, it's good to be reminded because sometimes you'll forget, like you'll do your you'll do your ballot and then mail it and then realize, oh no, I should have screenshotted, I should have took a photo and took a photo of my ballot number and everything just in case there's a problem. I have proof of my ballot. Arizona only allows paper ballots. Computer ballot machines are covered up. Yeah, you can't see, huh? Yeah, you can't, no, you can't screenshot it. And they probably wouldn't let you. They probably wouldn't let you take a photo with your phone. They probably like, can't do that. You can't take pictures of your phone in here. No photography or something, right? Like you can't photograph anything. And the next time, in the 2020 election, are they going to have people intimidating voters like they did with Obama versus Romney? Remember that they had people in the voting booths that were intimidating voters, trying to scare them into not and make them not want to go out and vote because they're scared of getting intimidated and like beat up or something. No computer votes allowed. Well, at least Arizona knows better. They know that computers aren't always accurate. Computers can make mistakes. I've had that happen when I've deposited a check and it said that there was a mistake in the amount that was deposited. And I looked at the number and yeah, and they screwed up because it took a picture of the check, a photo of it, and their number and the number on the check didn't match. So they had to correct it, and it took a few days for them to correct it. So I don't know if I'd completely trust computers to be 100% accurate, even though they scan things and stuff. But it doesn't mean everything's fine. That's why it's good to get a receipt so you can see the transaction. So, because I'll forget the minute I walk away from the bank, I'll forget what the amount was, the total. So it's good to look back. Oh, okay, that's the actual amount, and here's a copy of the check with the amount and the amount that's written in the calculation at the bank. Because they can, I mean, you could lose all your money if you don't pay attention, and you work hard for that. Yeah, didn't they try to steal Arizona away from Donald Trump? Seems like they did. Like they tried to manipulate the electoral over there. They tried to screw with it, but it didn't work. California is where Trump never wins the electoral. Sucks. It has the most electoral votes too. It's just nearly impossible to get California. It's just the Democrats always get California. It's kind of like what's called it, Wheel of Fortune, where they do RSTLNE, right? Because everybody always picks those letters, so they automatically put them in, and then you get what was it? You get three vowels or whatever, something like that. Three extra letters, and they say you get your three vowels. So I haven't watched Wheel of Fortune in a long time because I don't watch TV. But when I used to watch TV, I used to watch that crap. Like it's really intriguing worrying about what the missing letters are in a phrase or something. So I can watch someone else win big money when they solve the puzzle, right? So stupid. We have the only Trump store outside of Trump Towers. Hmm. You have a Trump store? If we had a Trump store here, they'd probably break the front window out. I bought my wife a Women for Trump shirt there. See, we can't have any stores like that here. If we had one of those here, they'd burn the place down. We had women with pussy hats walking up and down our main strip here in town where I work. Hundreds of at least 100 women, and this is a small town. Just sickening. They had this pinata of Trump, and they made it look like a freak, and just insane. And they're like, "Hey, hey, ho, ho, Trump has got to go," and they were like chanting that all up and down Washington Street. And I'm like, this is weird because I live in a small community, and this is a pretty red area, as in demographics. It's red, And we have these women with purple, or not purple, I'm sorry, pink hats. Don't want to get the color wrong. Pink hats walking up and down the street. And they had planned this, obviously, to protest Trump because it had to do with something at the time. It was some kind of immigration bill he was passing that something about if they couldn't support themselves or they didn't have their own health insurance, they couldn't come over the border. Something had he'd passed and they were reacting to it. So whatever. So it's like a Trump place that serves coffee. How funny. Well, I don't know who's paying for them, but I couldn't believe in the small community I live in that they actually had a PUSSY rally on Main Street where I live. I couldn't believe the amount of people that were actually protesting Trump. And it was funny because my boyfriend was coming up the main strip and he was waving this Trump flag that he had, and they were like ready to go out of their mind. He just did it to mess with them, but they were all upset because he was waving a Trump flag outside the window, and they couldn't stand it. They were so mad. He's all Trump 2020, and they're like, they were like ready to go crazy out of their minds. And I was yelling at them too. I'm like, you're all insane. You're all insane. Trump is going to be president 2020. And they were like, no, he's not. He's going to go to prison. That's what they were yelling. He's going to go to prison. He's a criminal. Trump's a criminal. And I said, what did he do? Where's your proof? You have nothing. And they're like, we have enough proof. Mueller and Schiff and Nadler and Nancy Pelosi, all of them are they're gonna expose Donald Trump for the corruption he's committed, that he's colluded with Russia. So, and so far they haven't been able to produce crap. That's why they haven't turned in the articles of impeachment to the Senate. And it's not gonna go anywhere. So all they're gonna do is do another bimbo gate, and it's gonna turn out to be a Stormy Daniels that's a big old liar, and she's gonna end up paying all of Trump's attorney fees, and she's gonna end up bankrupt. And then they're gonna do a GoFundMe account, and they're gonna put $1 million in her GoFundMe account, and then she's gonna move somewhere in the Hollywood Hills and go hide out. It's just stupid. Yeah, AVOK. I really appreciate putting the link up because I don't know how to put links up. I haven't really played around with my computer enough to know how to put links or how to save links. I'd have to have somebody show me how to do all this stuff. Plus, I don't want to plug up my computer full of stuff. I'm not sure what it is. But I know if you right click on things, it'll say save link or open link or whatever. But I have to really like work on it and then figure out where I saved it and then try to attach it to something. But you guys obviously know how to do that. It's pretty easy. You probably work with computers at your job or something. So you know how computers work. It's pretty simple. But for other people, it's not so easy. It's not it's not about Trump. It's about freedom versus socialism. Right. Yeah. All Trump is doing is it's his freedom of speech and they're trying to take it away. And they tried to take away his wife's freedom of speech by taking down her photos of her Christmas decorations that I think it was either Twitter or Facebook or something that she posted them on and they were taken down because they're not allowing her to have freedom of speech because they don't like her and they don't like her husband. They don't like his whole family. They don't like what they stand for with building hotels and stuff and trying to create jobs for people. Just they hate him for that. They want him to tell us all to live in mud huts and not have electricity or coal or gas or anything, and we don't eat meat. And I don't even want to think about what they want. Go to a video, hit share, and it has copy, then paste. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just when I share a video, like I'll click share, but I didn't even know it had a copy option. Huh. Yeah, we need more Melania Trump. What's up? Yeah, she's very quiet. She's not very outspoken. she hasn't really said much about the stuff that's being said about her husband. I think she tries to stay out of it because it's not for her. It's probably not very ladylike for her to be rapping, if you know what I mean, and losing her temper and all. It's not very. It's probably not part of her personality to do that. So it's her husband's the one who's very outspoken. Not, I don't think she is. I think when she wrote the stuff about Barron, when that ambassador lady said those rude things about her son, I think she had somebody consult her about what to say, and then she typed it in her Twitter. She was probably very careful about how she worded it, so it didn't seem, um, I don't know, Nazi-like, I guess, because they think the whole Trump family's a Nazis. But yeah, I think she tried to be dignified about her response. And obviously, she's going to say something in her kid's defense because she's not going to let somebody say what they said about her son and get away with it. What would you name? Did you named himself? He named his son Baron. What do you think he was, like a baron or something? Like he's the king's baron. So it's like people are stupid. Yeah, that's why people like her because she's very dignified. She's kind of like a Russian ballet dancer or something. She's not like a bull in a china shop like like Michelle Obama. Just Michelle Obama was not very ladylike. That's why people like Melania. She's very quiet and she only speaks when spoken to. She's not a loudmouth. So that's probably why Trump likes her too. Because she's just not trashy. She doesn't have a lot to say. But she has very good taste in decorations. And that's why the Democrats hate her. Because she's very traditional in her values. She likes Christianity. She loves traditional Christmas. She loves God and all that. And they hate her for that. And she's Slavic, so that's a part of Russia, and they hate Russians. So when they look at her, they think of Putin, I guess. And they hate her because she's tall, and Slavic women are always very pretty, and they hate her for that. I mean, I'm just guessing, but they hate her. I think they hate her for that. That she doesn't have big thighs and all that, like Michelle Obama. Yeah, Barron Trump, he's just a kid, and his name is being thrown out there like he's an adult or something, and he doesn't even say anything. I don't think he's ever said anything since Trump has been elected. I've never heard him say a word. He just stands next to his parents and they take photos, and I've never heard him say anything. He doesn't have nothing to say, I guess. And what do you want him to say? He's just a kid. He just wants to play video games, probably. Most kids at his age just want to play games. They're not involved in adult conversations. It's too young. So, yeah. And they hate him because he backed out of the Paris Climate Accord. Because why should we have to follow all those EPA regulations that all of them have to follow? They're unreasonable. Plus Paris and I think Germany and all of them have all disarmed themselves. Like they don't have guns and they have all these terrorist people coming into their country and taking over their people and raping their women and murdering people, stabbing them and stuff, blowing themselves up. And we're not far behind them because our country's being infiltrated too. We're not safe either because our laws are still pretty damn loose. And um, I don't know about this wall thing, but I don't know how much of these people are being pushed out. I just hope they're not coming in. I hope they're actually being thrown out of here. These people that are here illegally, I hope he's actually throwing them out. Not people just slipping through and still sneaking in and getting welfare and They're taking all the housing away from all the people that really deserve it, people that are citizens that are waiting to get housing and waiting to get employment. Because I know it was unfair when I got this apartment because I wanted a place to live and I already had employment. It's so unfair. Good people, they just want a chance and they can't be given that chance because someone who doesn't belong here takes that chance away from them. And then that person becomes homeless and then they give up and they become a zombie. And you know what? I guess I had enough um, drive to not give into that crap because I knew eventually we'd find something. Like I said, if we hadn't found something, we would have built a log cabin on his parents' property because we're going to go there. And his parents would be kicking and screaming and not liking it, but that's too bad because we need a place to live for our son. And this state isn't very charitable, if you know what I mean, when it comes to legal citizens. There's no room for us because there's too many people here that don't belong here. People are trying to take back their nations. They've had enough of this BS. Yeah, yeah, I'm surprised Trump even has the strength to even do rallies, like mentally and physically, how he has I don't know how he does it to be attacked all the time and still have the drive to want to go to these rallies and speak and fly back and do another one and then go to meetings. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he can stand it. How he doesn't get really upset because people are saying really terrible things about him all the time. Trump took away Don Jr. Atari and gave it to Michael Jackson when Michael Jackson lived and owned an apartment in Trump Towers in the 80s. Trump doesn't like the gaming thing. Yeah, I remember his kids not saying that, but they said they weren't allowed to have a gaming system. They had to earn it. And they had to go with their dad all the time to job sites and stuff. So he didn't want to spoil his kids. So that's good that he taught his kids some good stuff. That's probably why his kids turned out to be decent people because he didn't overly spoil his kids. I don't know about his daughter. I mean, I can't tell because that's a girl, so it's probably different than the boys because the boys are supposed to be doing the manual labor. So maybe that's why his daughter's a little more spoiled because she seems like the diamond kind of girl to me. Like she wears diamonds. Ultimately, it will be God. What is happening is evil and will stop. Yeah, there's no such thing as coincidences, is there? When things happen, when things suddenly change and you think they're never going to change and it's just going to stay the same, or God gives you a miracle when you think there never would be a miracle. You're having a really bad day the day before, and then you come to work, and all of a sudden there's like on a tabletop there's a $10 tip when 2 weeks in a row there hasn't been any tips. Something like that, I guess. Something to lift your spirits a little bit. It helps, though, because we don't live in a very nice world. So it's nice to have little things that make you feel a little better about everything. It is Don Jr. It's in Don Jr.'s new book. Yeah, you know what? Democrats are probably going to read his book and they're probably going to review it and they're going to tear it all up. Probably going to distort it and take quips from the book and twist and turn around like they did with Trump's transcripts, and then they twist it into something he never said. Oh, you want Ivanka for president? I don't think she wants that. I haven't heard her say anything about wanting to be president. But you know what? We can't think of anybody else because the Trumps are the only ones who are really into this. Nobody else really has the enthusiasm. Everybody else is kind of like polished, politicians where they're really good at memorizing stuff and They know how to speak and use really big words for things, but that doesn't matter. It's what you do. It's not how you say it. It's what you do when you have the job. And we want people that aren't polished politicians, because if you get the polished ones, they get corrupted and then they buy into the system and then you end up losing your rights. Red Dawn and Bull Samurai have to go. Oh, Red Dawn to go. Yes, God will be the one who ends the evil. I hope you're feeling better after your bad day. Pray before you sleep tonight. Red, get divine help. Night all. Oh, goodbye, Abby, okay? Yeah, you don't have to be on here if you're tired. Just go to sleep. Or do what you need to do. Take care, and if I make another video, I'm sure you'll comment on it, because you always do, even if it's kind of a stupid video. But sometimes I get inspired if something new happens, which is a lot, I guess. Sometimes there'll be some new weird thing. But I figured out my own dilemma earlier, because I was driving through the road and I kind of was going a little bit fast. I shouldn't have been going so fast. And I drove through this deep puddle that was on the road, standing water. And I think the water got on the engine because it said check engine, and the engine kind of stalled for a second, and then it went back to normal. I think I probably got water in the engine, probably splashed up. But I guess it doesn't take too much brains to figure that out, right? That you shouldn't drive really fast through a deep puddle. I just realized how stupid that was. And after that, I didn't panic anymore. I watched Ivanka grow up in The Apprentice. I don't really remember The Apprentice too much. Because I don't do business stuff. I don't watch stuff about business. But I respect Trump for being a business tycoon that he's work oriented. That's good, because he's a good example for the rest of the country. If you work hard and you try, you can be successful too. You don't have to be a millionaire, just enough to keep your head above water. Just have a good work ethic. And I think Trump would be probably just happy as if he was a worker at a job site. He just likes to work. He likes to stay busy. I think he does. I think he likes to stay busy. He doesn't like to sit around, do nothing. He's always wants to be out and about doing something. Because I've seen him on other things like WWF and stuff. He likes to do little things, make jokes and like make fun of himself and that kind of thing. I think he enjoys the spotlight. He really enjoys what people think of him. I think he really cares about it. He really thinks about it, like what people think of him, and he tries to fix it. And he tries to get with the people. So it's cool. That's what I like about him, is that he says things that you would say, like take their jacket away or get them out of here, or take them home to mommy, and it gets you laughing, right? And the Democrats aren't laughing. They're just like, "Oh, I hate Trump." It's like, come on, just get a sense of humor. Trump is just trying to be funny. He's trying to lighten it up. You guys are just being ridiculous. And just work with the damn man and let him do his job, because you can look at his bills and see he's trying to help. He's trying to help fix this mess. If the Democrats cared about the American people, they would be working with Trump right now. And when they came back from their vacation, they would be passing those bills that are on the House floor that haven't moved, because they choose to sit there and try to impeach the president instead of moving those bills. They need to push those bills through that Trump put in the House and have the Senate vote on them, because they're good bills. Get them through, get health care through, get rid of Obamacare, because nobody wants Obamacare, because apparently people are still getting fined for not having Obamacare. So yeah, that's still not fixed, apparently. That's what I've heard. I don't have to have Obamacare because I'm too poor, but for other people, they probably still have to have it. And if they don't have it, they get a fine. So Trump already has a healthcare bill that's in the House, that needs to be passed in the House and put to the Senate, but the Democrats are too busy trying to impeach him. And Mike Pence, apparently. Now it's Mike Pence who they want to get rid of, Mike Pence. Yeah, you've heard about all those bills in the House, huh? that haven't been passed in the House because they ain't been working on it. Because they're not interested in those bills. They're just interested in getting rid of Trump and then getting Nancy Pelosi in office and then putting all their bills through the House and bills that take away our guns and stuff. That's what they want. They want those bills instead to ban guns, take away our First and Second Amendment rights, and take away the right to own land, all that. That's what they want to pass to the House. Trump's bills actually help people own land and have jobs and keep these people out of here that don't belong here. That's his bills. The Apprentice, and yeah, we see. Yeah, yeah. The Democrats, they get it wrong when they talk about the history of Donald Trump. They make it sound like he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. His dad didn't give him. His daddy gave him $1 million, I think, and then that was it. And he said he had to invest that money, and if he didn't double his money, he would have to pay him back every dime with interest. And Trump doubled his money and then some. So it worked out. And his dad wanted him to learn the business. He didn't want him just being a leech, being like a Hunter Biden kind of thing, where he has to steal in order to get what he needs. I mean, look at Guns N' Roses, the drummer. He ran out of his money, and then he ended up being a drug dealer. So when you're not smart with your money, that's what happens. You're not a good business person, that's what happens. So it's the way it works, I guess. But the people that are attacking Trump right now, eventually they're going to fall on their own sword. I can see it. I can see it happening. Can't you? Eventually they're going to get theirs. The more they attack Trump, the more they're going to get theirs. Like Elisa Milano, all them. Eventually they're going to get theirs because they know they're wrong. Because they believe in killing babies and all that stuff. And their handsmaid tale. I'm going to wear a handsmaid tale to show that white males are suppressing me. And it's such ridiculous crap. These people are insane. We're not suppressed. Women aren't oppressed. Women are just as equal as men, if not more. And women can do the same thing as men, except for physical stuff for the most part. But office stuff and all that, women are pretty equal. So people like Alyssa Milano need to shut up. Stop making stop dividing women and men from each other and making them hate each other. It's just stupid people like that need to be shut up. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Besides that, she don't got no kids, and she let her eggs dry out, and she's trying to blame everybody else for that. And she killed a bunch of her unborn children because she can't stop being a SLUT, so she had to kill her unborn children, and now she don't got no babies. Full-time abortions are scary. I don't ever want to see one either. Thank you. I don't ever want to see it. I've heard the description of the abortions, and I don't want to see it. I don't want to see ever, ever, ever. 'Cause it'll make me so mad. I don't want to ever see it. Oh, Lisa Milano, yeah, fake. She's probably everything on her is probably fake. Like Madonna, like her face is all fake, plastic. She's just stupid. She's like an old whore, like kind of like Cher's, like an older whore. WHORE, whore, hoa. She's like an old whore. It's pathetic. And I remember the night that Trump won, and they had the headquarters, the Hillary Clinton headquarters, and they had that on video, and then they had the Trump headquarters at the same time. That is split screen. And I was watching. I stayed up all night, watched it, and they were doing the tallies. And I remember Megyn Kelly was crying because Trump basically he won the electoral. He had like 300 plus, and Hillary only had like 227 or something. And I remember Cher walked into Hillary's headquarters. She walked in, she saw the numbers on the board, and she walked right out. And I tried not to laugh, but I'm like, Trump won, and they kept running the replay of everything, and they said they were waiting on they were waiting for Trump to come out and make a speech on his victory and all that, and They showed the Hillary headquarters and all the women there were all crying and stuff. And they showed the headquarters of Trump, and they were all excited and waiting and anticipating Trump coming out. Oh, and I kind of felt bad, but I didn't feel bad because I don't give a crap about those stupid people on the left. They deserved it. They deserved that loss. And they cried. They were crying. It's pathetic. And they haven't stopped crying since then. They're still crying now because they haven't learned anything from their mistakes. They didn't learn from their mistakes and make changes. No, they're still doing the same stupid shit and then expecting to throw Trump out illegally without due process. That's the way they work. If they don't like you, they'll just shut you up illegally. That's what they do. That's what YouTube is doing. They're shutting people out illegally, even though they say this is a free press. But it's not. It's only free for those that they agree with. All of Hollywood looks plastic. Gross. Yeah, they're all plasticky. Did you see, know who's plasticky? That's really disappointing is Elvis's wife, Priscilla. Did you see her face? She looked better before she did the surgery. She should have just left her face alone and just use like cream or something on her face. She should have just used anti-aging cream or whatever. Shouldn't have done that to her face. It was very disappointing when I saw her at Graceland, Priscilla, and she was all plastic and her lips are all really huge. So sad because she used to look really nice. She used to look really pretty. And she probably would have looked fine as an older woman, but she ended up ruining her face. Just it's so vain. And it doesn't matter if she had some wrinkles. She should have just left her face alone. Because she'd still probably look pretty good. Trump has so many people show up compared to others. I haven't seen that before. Oh, you talking about Priscilla? Yeah, if you look it up online, you'll see it. Priscilla Presley now. She's got all that plastic on her face. She looks terrible. She doesn't look like what she looked like before. Like before she was really pretty, but now she looks terrible. So disappointing. I think even Elvis would be disappointed if he saw her. She looks horrible. Trump has so many people show up. Okay, I read that. Everyone should have learned from Michael Jackson. Yeah, to not do surgery on your face, to not bleach your skin and all that, and try to change your looks. I think he looked better before he did all that stuff to himself. He should have just left himself alone and just been natural the way he was made. It just looks, people just thought he was a freak. Like even even black people didn't like the way he looked. They just thought it was insane looking. Just they didn't know what he was. He just looked like an alien or something. Just it's weird. And then those boys spending the night at his house and all that. It just didn't look right, you know? I mean, he said he was trying to help these kids with cancer, you know, have them watch movies and stuff at his house, but I don't know. Just I don't think that was a good idea. And he ended up obviously paying for it because some kid told on him, and then they ended up suing him, and he got in a lot of trouble. I don't know. It's just bad. He never had a childhood. Poor little Michael Jackson, right? Just, he was beaten from the day he was born by his father, and he hated his dad. And he hated, I guess, that he had dark skin and all that, so he wanted to lighten it up. Maybe he wanted to be white. I don't know. People aren't going to learn from Michael Jackson. People idolize Michael Jackson with his all his plastic surgery and stuff. They just think he's like a god or something. They should have felt just bad for him that he mutilated himself. He should have just left himself alone. But he chose to do that. And then they have this big monument in honor of Michael Jackson. I don't know if he repented his sins before he died. Maybe he's not in hell, huh? Kardashians are just as bad. I choose not to watch anything they do because it's all vain stuff. It's all very vain. I used to watch there was like a reality show that had Jessica Simpson in it, and she was married to somebody, I can't remember who it was, but just it was all stupid. Just, now that I look back on it, it was just really stupid. All these lips look like the Joker. Yeah, they got these big full lips, right? Like inner tube lips. They're so fat. It's like, how big do they need to be? It's because women don't want to have thin lips. They want bigger lips, so they don't because it makes them look younger. But then they get the injections or whatever, and it ends up making them too big. And you see those freaks that they've had plastic surgery, and it ends up messing their face up really bad. I just don't understand why you just can't be happy with what you have. It's just not natural to cut up on your face, to cut your face all up. That's why they made makeup and all that. You just try to cover it up. There's older women that wear makeup and they look fine. They don't need all that plastic. And they're trying to look better because they want their husband to not look at other women, I guess. That's why they probably do that to their face. But in the end, it doesn't do them any good. Because if their husband was a good man, he wouldn't care if they had plastic surgery or not. Don't you agree? Their butts are implants. Crazy, they must be miserable. How can you sit on that? Ew. I didn't even know they had plastic butts. Why would you want a bigger butt? What, so you can't sit down? They want a big old poofy butt because they can't accept the fact that maybe they have a flat butt and it just looks flat in a pair of jeans. So what? Why is that so important? Everybody's so worried about it. Ugh. I've seen other actresses where they've never had any work done and they look fine. They left their face alone and they look fine. But there's some that have to feel like they have to have plastic. Oh, and I saw that Bulldog Samurai. I saw that you did a couple videos online, and I did click on them and I watched them. So you got a lot of farm animals, huh? That's cool. So you just started putting videos up. I saw you only have like three videos, but that's good. Maybe you'll get some more views, huh? You come up with some more ideas from some videos, and maybe you'll get some more views or something. But just don't put any right wing stuff in there, right? Just pretend to be left wing and then put your chicken on there and say left wing chicken, yay, and then you'll get like a million views. Just don't put any right wing stuff on it, and you'll do just fine. Just a little tip, right? They can have some of my butt, huh? Oh, the meat. Oh, because you have extra fat or something. I don't know if they can put human meat inside of somebody's butt. I think it has to be silicone or something, right? Some kind of filler. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. You take a piece of meat from one part of the body and stick it in another part and expect it to work. Hey, well, that's a compliment that I encourage you to make a channel. Come up with some ideas, huh? Maybe make a skit with some of your farm animals. Make something funny or something, or do something political with them. You have enough fat to go around. That's funny. Easy enough to get fat, huh? All this crap that we eat. It's enough to get big and fat and depressed. We're all getting all roly poly now. Everybody. 'Cause we're eating and getting more depressed and feeling more helpless, getting fatter. Oh, you're learning about videos? I don't even know how to. Yeah. Yes, I am. But I'm glad you made some videos. That's cool that somebody did because I told asked this other person if they could do some videos, and they didn't. They're like, nah, I don't make videos. So that's cool. You start making videos, but you probably you have farm animals, so you have probably some stuff to talk about, like stuff you know about your chickens and stuff. Oh, do you have a thyroid problem? Yeah, I know some people have problem. They have a hard time losing weight, so they have to find another way to lose weight. I've seen all those gimmicks online that say, "Oh, it'll help you lose weight. You lose like so much weight all at once." There's no way to do that. You just have to exercise and all that. There's really no miracle to make you lose weight. So, Bulldog, what do you have any other ideas for another video? I saw you put animals on there, so is that going to be your theme? Is animals, just animals, wild animals, chickens, stuff like that? The only animal I have is my cat, and he doesn't do a lot. Plus, I'm not supposed to put animals in my videos, I guess. If I'm going to talk about adult stuff, I can't put my cat in there. I don't know. It's weird. Very weird. So I have to remember to kick the cat out of the scene if I'm doing something and the cat jumps up. I have to make sure I got to get him out of the video where they'll see that there's a cat. Oh, so you put your camera up to see if there's any wild animals? That's cool. Do you have a lot of wild animals that go through your property? Yeah, the only wild animals we have around here is deer. That's about it. We don't really see much of anything else because I live where there's a lot of traffic. So the only thing we really get around here is deer. Occasionally, someone will hit a deer in the road, but nothing any more bigger than that. Yeah, we don't see coyotes or anything. They don't come into town. Or bears. No bears ever come where I live. It's too busy. There's too much traffic. It's too loud. Bears don't like loud noises, stuff like that. That's cool. So you set up your camera right now, so if it catches something, you'll just record it and save it and then put it up on your channel. That's how you start. Just start putting stuff up and then maybe get a little more creative with it. And then maybe people will watch it. Because animal videos are pretty popular. You can catch something unique and kind of cool. Or put like an underground camera in and do videos of moles or something. Underground like huts or something. Animals. What'd you say? Oh, you can't be in the video though, because they'll tear my video down. How's it? Oh well, because I'll get in trouble. Well, that's cool that you do animal videos. I don't do any animal videos because they consider that kid stuff. So you'll probably have to put it. I'm not sure how you'd label it if it's for kids or not. Not sure how that works. If you're just gonna strictly do animal videos and no people, just animals. YouTube is weird, I guess. They have weird rules on that. So I always have to put age restricted because you can't do both. You can't just say, oh, it's adults and kids talking. You can't do both, apparently. They used to let you do that, but not anymore.
What's wrong with you doing here?
I'm not online for hours. Please. I just started this less than 3 hours ago. So chill out. But I like doing this. That's why I do it. This is my new niche. This is my new thing. I am a mom. Please. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. And Bulldog Samurai and Thomas Witten, I hope you have a good night. And I'm glad you enjoyed the video, as unexciting as it was. But I'm glad I inspired you to do a video on your animals, on the animals on your property. Make some more, because I'll watch them. I don't have any exciting animals near where I live. It's just cats that live nearby that crap in the bushes next to my door. That's about it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow if you want to watch. And Abby, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, wherever you are. All right. Good night, guys.